Okay, so we're on the track for that there. So again, we're so pleased to have Yvonne Lewis Holley, our next Lieutenant Governor, as our featured speaker. We are going to have a pledge of allegiance, which we start every meeting with, and a brief prayer. And we'll go into some introductions. Amy Steele, who is running for state assembly, is going to join our call in just a little bit, and she will be doing the formal introduction for Yvonne. But right now, what I'd like to do is have each of us recognize that leadership begins not just at the top, but at the county level, at the local level. And we're so pleased to have with us today Kevin Vinson and Sabrina Berry, who are running for county commissioner. And this leadership conference is about executive leadership. We had a conference, several conferences now, that dealt with leadership at the legislative level. And we are going to be talking in another few weeks about leadership at the judicial level. But today we're focusing on executive leadership at the state and at the county level. We start every one of our meetings with a pledge, and I would ask each of you to put yourself at this time on mute so that we don't have a lot of reverberation. If you wouldn't mind just putting yourself on mute, and then when I recite the pledge, if you would all say that Pledge of Allegiance with me, and we'll get this meeting started. So, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the prayer that I would have for us is that we pray for all of our leaders. We pray for our elected officials. We pray for those who are running for public office. We pray for the countrymen who are dealing with fires in the West Coast and the aftermath of hurricanes in the southeast part of our country, and with pandemic throughout the land, and with all the problems that we're facing in our country. We pray to our Heavenly Father that He'll give us guidance, and He'll give us the knowledge that we need to move forward as a country, as a state, as a county, and as a community. Well, I'd like to turn the stage over to Kevin Vinson, who is running for county commissioner. And Kevin, if you're there, and I know you're there, if you can share you can take yourself off mute, if you will, and make sure that your screen is being shared, your video is being shared. We'll start with Kevin and then Sabrina. So Kevin, if you would, are you there? If you can mute yourself and there you go. I'm going to stop share so that we'll see you full view. Okay. And if you share a little bit about yourself and what you plan to do as a county commissioner.
Sure. Thank you so much, Vincent, for this time, and everyone for joining. Again, I'm Kevin Vinson. When I was in grade school, there were crack pipes and drug needles and other adult paraphernalia on the playground. And the teachers would say, watch out for that, move over that way. And years later, I moved to a different school about 20 minutes away. And I quickly noticed how at this school, teachers were able to just teach. And in years past, I truly understood the duality between the two schools. And because of these experiences, I completely understand the importance of good education and awareness of local government decisions. Again, my name is Kevin Gregory Vinson, and I want to represent you as Cabarrus County Commissioner. And on November the 3rd, I'd like your vote. I'm a born and raised North Carolinian. I'm a husband of 12 years and a father of 3 children. I have my master's in public administration, and I've been in the information technology risk professional field for the past 13 years. I'm running to represent all of Cabarrus County. Each municipality, as I've done my research and talked to a lot of different people, has its own unique needs, and it's part of the county commissioner's job to recognize those needs. and act accordingly to ensure that no one gets left behind. In order to do that, you'll need someone like myself who reflects the community at large and champions its greatest needs, who dedicates time to listen to citizens' concerns, who plans to reach out to every corner of Cabarrus County, and who cares about the citizens and seeks to improve their overall quality of life. My personal belief is as we address our local government issues together, Cabarrus County will be an even better place where hardworking citizens can have the opportunity to achieve their dreams, where everyone can thrive. And if elected, I'd like to start a council of wise elders within the county, collaborating with younger area leaders so that I'll be clear about the issues throughout Cabarrus County and have the plans to meet quarterly to understand the constituents' issues and to create dialogue about issues like we're currently in with COVID-19, and to be open to share and have a better understanding of other cultures. Because at my core, I just have a heart for people. And as your county commissioner, it is my aim to take care of our local educators, ensuring financial support to schools and teachers throughout Cabarrus County. I'll focus on and advocate on the full scope of businesses within our community, both large and small, and make informed, data-driven decisions for our local economy. I'll fight to remove the stigma surrounding mental health and implement strategic plans to deal with challenges associated with mental health within our county. And previously, I've always talked about retaining the values of Cabarrus County. And I believe that to be huge because my children are here, your children are here. And that's my true motivation. I believe in the importance of local government and the direct impact it has on our lives, especially in the areas of education, economic development, and human services. And my goal is to represent every citizen equally, fairly, and with a genuine passion for the place that I call home. So whether you're voting early or heading to the polls on November the 3rd, I look forward to representing you as your county commissioner and being the first Democrat on the board of county commissioners in over 2 decades. Here in Cabarrus County, we can begin to look at our issues with a fresh perspective and vision. So I ask for you to vote for Kevin Vinson. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. And, you know, we hope to hear much more from you in the coming weeks in advance of the election. We will hear more during the Q&A. And that Q&A will be joined by Sabrina Berry, also running for county commissioner. You two are the only two, as far as I know, Democrats who are running for county commissioner. And so we hope that you both will be elected and we'll be able to vote for both of you and get you to make a difference on that county board, because it makes so much difference at our county level. I'm going to ask Sabrina, if you're there, if you could unmute yourself, Sabrina, and share your videos available. Yay, there you are.
How are you?
I'm going to stop share so we can see you in full screen, if you would. Introduce yourself as well.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you guys for having us again and your continuing support. And thank you for mentioning there is 2, and remember that you can select 2 on the ballot, and we're on the back. I am Sabrina Berry, running for Cabarrus County Commissioner, and I want to say I apologize for my voice. I am suffering with allergies. Most of you guys that know me, you know that I am an advocate for social and economic injustice, as well as an advocate for reproductive justice. I want every citizen in our county to thrive and have economic opportunity to prosper. Part of my platform is affordable living, a livable wage, mental health, and education. I want jobs that pay our citizens a livable wage that compares to the cost of living. In COVID-19, there's so many in our county that are facing eviction. They're facing making choices between paying rent and putting food on the table. Most of you guys know our seniors in our county have already been suffering, and we lack the resources to support them. We need more affordable homes. We need more resources to support our seniors and single families. We need resources for our homeless. We're in 2020 and we have approximately 35 beds for the homeless in our county. And that's a growing problem as we go into 2021 with the stay or that the CDC put on evictions. There are going to be so many more people that are going to be facing eviction come January. And you have to ask yourself, if that was you, where would you go? What resources would you have? In the beginning of COVID-19, I worked with a single father. In the beginning of March, when we first went into COVID-19, the day before, there was a single father with 3 children who were staying in a hotel. He was evicted from the hotel, and this was before the hotel stay. Trying to find him and his 3 children a place in our county to stay was impossible. The Salvation Army told him because he was a man and they had women and children, they couldn't accept him. As a citizen of this county, it was heartbreaking to tell him, we have to send you to the next county over to get a hotel voucher, to go into a shelter that accept men and children. Ask yourself, if that's you, where would you go? What would you do? Could you stay in this county? We need more shelter for our homeless. We have a growing mental health crisis. The use of opiate, depression, physical and sexual abuse is on the rise even more through COVID-19. We're still lacking in educating our citizens in human trafficking and mental health awareness. We as a county, we still don't have, and we're still not considering those at-risk programs for our struggling young adults. We're not taking care of our teachers, and again, our vets and our seniors. So I want to be your voice. I want to bring leadership and economic solutions to the issues our county face. I'm committed to working with all municipalities for the common good of our citizens. I want to represent you regardless of your race, your sexuality, your zip code, your party affiliation, or religion. I want to represent you because I am you. I face those same challenges living in this county, and I want to see change. As Kevin said, it's been 25 years since you've been represented by a Democrat. It's time for leadership. It's time for change. It's time to be a voice of the disenfranchised. It's time to consider those communities that are left out. It's time to make change, and we can do that on November the 3rd, whether you are voting early or you're going to the polls. Share who's elected down the ballot. We still need voter education. People need to understand how our federal, local, and a state government works together and how it's important, how we need to re-elect Governor Cooper and Yvonne Holley. We need her as Lieutenant Governor, and how the two together can work together to make a change for our state, and how that works with our local government and who we're sending to federal. So please, please share the information. Thank you guys. And my website is sabrinaberry2020.com.
Well, thank you, Sabrina. This is, this perfect timing. And we sense your passion. I can sense your passion, and Kevin's. And yes, you two definitely need to be the next 2 Democratic elected county commissioners. I'm so glad to see that Amy Steele has joined the call. Amy is going to actually be sharing information, an introduction actually for Yvonne Lewis Holley, our next Lieutenant Governor. And Amy, if you are there, I will stop screen share and allow you to do the informal introduction for Yvonne Lewis Holley. Are you there, Amy?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can. Oh, you're driving in a car. All right. That's fine. Amy, now I can't hear you. You put yourself on mute, Amy. Amy?
Okay, I'm not driving just to be safe.
Okay.
But I am going to remove my video to maintain focus.
Okay.
But I am honored to introduce our speaker for this evening. Are you ready?
Yes, go ahead. Introduce.
All right. Representative Yvonne Lewis Holley was born in Raleigh and was part of the changing South. Yvonne was elected into the North Carolina House in 2012, representing District 38, and is now the Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina. Educated in the Wake County Public School System, Yvonne is an advocate for education. As a student at Enloe High School, she was one of the first students of desegregation. Working her way through Howard University, she began a career dedicated to education, health, economics, youth development, and political advocacy. Yvonne's heart for public service includes 25 years dedicated to working as a state government employee. One of the most notable accomplishments during Representative Holley's tenure in the North Carolina House has been the extensive work to relieve food deserts in areas across the state. Her and funding to support closures. As the Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor, Yvonne's platform focuses on rebuilding North Carolina through her Affordable Living Initiative. Her ALI platform establishes a statewide initiative that brings together public and private partnerships, nonprofits, urban and rural governments, legislators, environmentalists, home builders, and everyday citizens to help solve some of the problems that have become critical needs in communities across North Carolina. I will say that the next voice you will hear will be my dear friend and a wonderful representative and an amazing woman who is making history currently. And that voice is that of Representative Yvonne Lewis Holley. Hello, Representative, and welcome.
Hello, Cabarrus County. I must apologize because I disappeared for a minute because I've been on 2 meetings at the same time, and I jumped in to speak to another one, and then I have to get on another one when I leave this one. So it's like, who's Zooming who? In the words of Aretha Franklin. Some of you may be old enough to remember that song. So it is my joy and pleasure to be with Cabarrus County this evening and to talk about the race and so many things that we need to do to get ready for election on November the 3rd. It's also an honor and a privilege to talk to Democrats, light-thinking people. I don't need to convince you to vote for Democrats because you already know that it's the Democrats who are going to change North Carolina. We're going to bring it back to where it needs to be in even a better place than before. First of all, I am Representative Yvonne Lewis Holley. I represent District 38 in North Carolina General Assembly. I've been in the General Assembly now for 8 years, and I know how to get things done. As Amy in that beautiful introduction gave me, I was instrumental in getting funding and educating the General Assembly on food insecurity and food deserts. Lately, I've been trying to do the same thing with housing and housing insecurities. All of that has become my ally program. During the primary, I ran on Ally, which is an affordable living initiative. That's housing affordability. It's food and health security affordable. It's jobs, it's workforce development, living wages for people, and it's transportation. One of the latest things I've done is put in a bill in the General Assembly. They wouldn't hear it, but I put it in early, and I was trying to convince them that when the evictions start, they're going to be heavy, and so many people are going to be put out. We need to do something about that. We need to make sure. I was trying to get money to help people pay their rents, and at the same time, trying to get some assistance for those who may lose their homes due to foreclosure. And these are just very important things. Now, the federal government is providing some funding for that, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. In fact, I'm sure it's not going to be enough. And the General Assembly may have to come back in session, and we may have to do some things in those areas. But that is part of the reason why my Affordable Living Initiative is so important. Housing, people are in a housing crisis. Right now in my district, I have 3,000 school-age children living in hotels. These are working parents who are working every day, but there's no housing available in their income brackets, yet they can pay $75 to $150 a night to stay in hotels. This is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and when I found that this is what was in my district in an urban area, that in rural areas is even worse. You have 10, 12 people to single wide trailers, and in some instances, camps. These are things that nobody's talking about. What is happening to our families? So the Ally program is a holistic approach. Let's wrap our arms around the community in a holistic pattern. If you're hungry, that child can't learn. If you don't know where your head is going to be laid that night, then mom can't work good on her job and be productive. So we need to bring people back up to a sense of security. And COVID has brought all of these things to our attention. Of course, you're hearing my biggest supporter, my dog. He sees something out the window that he decides to talk to. So I want to thank you for this opportunity to come tonight because these issues are just so important. Now let's talk about voting. Now, there are 3 ways to vote. You can vote by mail, you can vote in early vote, and you can vote on election day. Now, voting by mail, I have heard from so many mail people telling me that they're going to do whatever is necessary to make sure that those ballots get there and get there on time. They're making it their personal duty to deliver the mail on time. So I think that we can all feel comfortable with voting by mail. Early voting, there'll be so many people there for early vote that will give you masks, that will have hand sanitizers to make sure that we social distance, and just to give you the opportunity to vote in a more comfortable environment that's less crowded and over a period of time. So that if you want to early vote, I suggest that that may be one of the best ways if you want to go in public. And then there's also those people who want to vote on election day. And we will do everything possible to make sure that voting on election day, that they're safe and that they'll be able to cast their ballots. I am thrilled and delighted to have all of you here tonight on this call, working to try to make sure that we get out that vote and that you vote for Democrats up and down the ticket. We have an opportunity to make history. We can elect the first African-American lieutenant governor of the state of North Carolina. Not because I'm African-American, because I am the most qualified for that position. And I have the platform and the plan and the wherewithal to do great things for you. I don't want to talk too long. I want to be available for any questions that you may have. And I need to, try to see what's outside at some point, what my dog is barking for. So again, ask for forgiveness. But if you have any questions, I am available for any questions that you may have at this time.
Well, thank you, Yvonne. Yeah, there will be questions, I'm sure, coming from the audience. One of the things we want to think about during the question and answer period is how do the different levels of executive leadership interact with each other from the county level to the state level? How do the county commissioners work with the lieutenant governor and with the governor to ensure that there's a seamless message and a seamless policy, if you will? And if you could kind of sort of address that issue.
Well, that's been really great with me in, having been from Wake County and knowing my county commissioners and my city leaders here, that they come to us at the General Assembly, usually at the beginning of the session, and they try to let us know what's important in their district, what is going on, what is happening, what kind of legislation they think they need to have passed. And we talk and we meet with them and we work with them very early in the session, and we try to introduce the proper bills to help things go through. I am sure that they also, now I don't know about the governor, but in my office, I will be open to anybody who wants to come, and I want to bring the counties in. I want people to come and tell me what's going on in their communities so that we can make sure that legislation, if it's legislation that needs to be done, we can do it. If it's administrative and you need something from the governor or the lieutenant governor, that I will communicate with him and we will see what we can do to make sure that that is a smooth transition.
Wonderful. Now, I noticed too, that was kind of sort of a segue in a way that, how does the legislative branch and the executive branch work together to get a more perfect union here in North Carolina. Marcus Singleton is on the call. Amy Steele obviously is on the call. Marcus is running for State Senate 36. Amy is running for State Assembly. I'm not sure if she's driving the car, if she can join this part of the Q&A. And Marcus, I'm not sure if you have video available, if you can turn on your video and allow us to see you and ask any questions you might have as to how the legislative branch can work with the executive branch and how we can form that more perfect agenda.
Well, I'd like to say that one of the great things is the lieutenant governor is the only elected official that's on both. I am a member of the North Carolina General Assembly and a member of the executive branch and the Council of State. So I would take that lead on being the liaison to take things from one branch to the other. You know, the governor usually submits things to the General Assembly vis-a-vis budget, and he has not had a Democratic person that works with him. So that's why it's even more important that to be able to work with the governor and to bring things from the executive branch to the General Assembly and things from the General Assembly and legislatively to the executive branch to let them know what's going on. This is a state of where we've had a Republican governor and a Democratic lieutenant governor, and now we have a Democratic governor and a Republican lieutenant governor. And in order for there to be a cohesiveness, it's just so important that we give Governor Cooper a lieutenant governor that can work with him to help that transition be smoother.
Awesome. Wow. Well, Marcus, you're on the call. Yep, you're unmuted now. What are some of the legislative issues, Marcus, that you would like to bring to the executive branch? Some of the things that you hope to see accomplished to move our state forward.
To Madam Yvonne Holley, my fellow Bison, good to see you again. So one of the things I think was what Ms. Yvonne just made plain there, or Representative Yvonne just made plain, is opportunity for transparency and also accountability. I think that if we had a lieutenant governor that was a Democrat, along with the current governor as a Democrat, and then those of us in the local government in terms of at the state level, that will give us an opportunity to be able to share information directly within our counties and get things passed, get information to our constituencies, and also get things passed such as a livable wage. I think that we must, Representative Yvonne mentioned about the challenge of housing. So we need to make sure that people have access to higher pay. And the best way we can do that in terms of helping people move out of poverty is through a livable wage. So I believe that we have to definitely raise the minimum wage to $15. That is a beginning. That is a floor level opportunity for us to help people move beyond poverty. And then another issue around that is education. We know that education is the bedrock of our society, the bedrock of our country, and we have to reinvest. I think we have allowed the Republicans to take away our education system and begin to privatize it, and which is really moving us back towards segregation. And we have come this far, and if we're going to really be, you keep using the frame, if we're going to move toward a perfect union, we have to make education, establish policy around education that is becomes where it doesn't matter what zip code that you live in. Because right now we have issues around, if you live in one school district, you have one level of education. If you live in this school district, you have another level of education. So we have to put investment into our schools. And studies show that for schools, for our education system, it begins with the teacher. All studies point to that the quality of our teachers is the best deterrent, not deterrent, the best indicator of knowing the quality of education that we will have. So we have to invest in our teachers, ensuring that we're giving them a professional wage, ensuring that we're providing them with resources in terms of nurses within our school, support personnel as nurses, counselors, and social workers to making sure that we're helping provide for a holistic approach to teaching. So for me, I believe that we have to focus on education, livable wage, and also obviously Medicaid expansion. And those are the three areas that we're focusing on in our campaign.
Thank you, Marcus. Amy, I know you're driving a car. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that Q&A? You are on mute. Go ahead.
Sure. So first of all, I want to say thank you to Representative Holley. One of the things I plan to do in terms of being a member of the General Assembly is working in collaboration with Representative Holley, who will then be the Lieutenant Governor as well as our governor, to really move forward some of these initiatives that Marcus spoke about and that Representative Holley spoke about relative to Medicaid expansion, relative to education. But I think it's time for us to kind of reimagine North Carolina. And I'm really excited about the initiatives that are on our governor's tray and his plate, and
Oh, Amy, you got cut off there.
a part of the General Assembly. I think there are opportunities for bipartisan efforts as Representative Holley worked through some bipartisan area or bipartisan efforts in a bipartisan way, rather, to pass some legislation. I think that's what it's going to take. And so I'm excited about her candidacy, and I'm excited about the opportunity to bring together, again, the governor's vision for a better North Carolina so that we can move forward in a more rock solid way. I think it's no secret that my number one issue is public education, and it will continue to be my number one issue as I strive to raise the amount spent on every student. I think we need to decrease what we're spending on prisoners and non-violent offenders who are incarcerated, and we need to increase what we're spending on students. And by doing some criminal justice reform, we can truly start to see the tide turn. So thank you, Representative Holley, for sharing your words of wisdom with us. And I do look forward to working with you in the General Assembly. And you too, Marcus.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Marcus. There's so many questions that are out there that gravitate to housing and infrastructure, prison reform, the opioid crisis, but several of the questions at the top of the list have in fact been about education. One of them was from a question that came in ahead of time from one of our candidates who's also currently on the school board, asking the commissioners, candidates, what do you think the commissioner's role is with the budget of the two school systems, i.e. Cabarrus and Kannapolis? And Kevin, either you or Sabrina, or both of you can kind of sort of answer that question.
Sure, I'll take that one. I'll leave the other one for Sabrina. But generally speaking, the role from a Cabarrus, from a commissioner perspective, is that you would generally, with any with budgets within local government, you're going to receive the budget requests from the different schools, Cabarrus and Kannapolis, because we make payments for both of them, and then look at that and look at the county department interest and the things that are priorities for them, and look at the available revenue, and many meetings with the school board and the departments to determine what is the best, I guess, bang for the buck, if you will, and go through it from that perspective. That's generally speaking how it works. It's not a circumstance wherein obviously we can say do this or don't do that, but it's a collaboration. And that's what I'm all about, is collaborating with the school board and making sure that we identify those high priority items.
Thank you. Well, another question that came from Cindy was, do you support land banking for schools, senior centers, and libraries, and why or why not? And again, that could be something you might answer. Oh, Sabrina, go ahead.
Well, I can, and I agree with Kevin. Our visions are very much the same, which is why you see the both of us in my background.
I love it.
I do support land banking for schools and the redevelopment of our vacant and abandoned and foreclosed land. Our economy needs to thrive, and we can thrive if we had land banking. Also, our senior centers as well as libraries. We do need libraries, particularly in the areas of Mount Pleasant. They are in need of bigger libraries, but across the county, that should be looked at, and it should be fit into the budgets.
Well, thanks, Sabrina. I see Catherine Moore is on the call. Catherine Bonds Moore is running for school board, and we just came off of a meeting last week where Catherine, you and Cindy and the other candidates for school board were on a call with Dr. Jen Mangrum, who's also going to be Council of State if we can get her elected as the Superintendent of Public Instruction. Are there any questions, Catherine, that I know during the call with Dr. Mangrum, there were several questions about how the school board could work more closely with the county commissioners and work more closely with the state, with Yvonne, and with other Council of State members. Was there anything that was pressing in your mind as like the #1 issue that needs funding or attention from the state, from the county commissioner level?
Well, I think it's like what Kevin said. We've all got to work together for this common cause and advocate for the children, and advocate at the county level, the state level, get the funding that we need. You know, things are changing with the remote learning and technology. But we've just all got to work together for our children and what's best for them, and the school staff in our schools. So I think the secret is, you know, I could work very well with this team. And then of course at the state level, and we've got Amy that's going to be there fighting for us, but we just all need to be advocates.
Well, thank you, Catherine. We have a question from Jay Boyer. Actually, I think, Jay, you had a couple of different questions you wanted to ask. And by the way, before you start, I would say thank you for stepping up. I know that you've been participating at the county level, working with the County Democratic Party as, I think, standing for second vice chair, but you can tell us a little bit about that, but then ask your question. But you do have to unmute yourself first.
Yeah, that would kind of help. Yeah, I jumped into, right now I'm the special assistant to the chair, helping Bobby and the executive board. Can't be voted in chair, vice chair until the upcoming election, I guess, whenever that might be. I think that's February when they have the convention to set up all the precincts and reorganizations. And we have, right now we got, just so you guys have some idea, we had about 41 precincts. We had about 21 that became organized in February. Of the 21, we have about 10 that are active, and we have about 4 that made their goal as far as funding goes, which brings me to the first question. I'm asking you guys for your brains and your help, because you guys have been doing this a lot longer than I have. So my first question is, how have you guys been handling fundraising during the crisis, since we can't be doing the traditional fundraising? Anybody want to grab that one? Give me some ideas that I can share with the different chairs for the different precincts.
By fundraising, do you mean fundraising for our campaigns or for our precincts?
For the precincts, so that we have money to be able to back you guys up and doing certain things. For instance, I know that we're looking into getting some of the signs for like Biden and stuff, and the prices that I've seen for those signs are like off the wall.
Okay, I understand. I'll just speak for my campaign in general. You know, we've continued to call on donors, ask people for money. I think I know what we're seeing is that people are more willing to give during this time when they can. If they can't give, then, you know, we are also taking requests for various things that people need and trying to assist them in any way we can to give them food or give them access to cash through some grant programs that are available through Down Home NC and other groups who are here in Cabarrus County. But as a candidate, I will tell you that what we're seeing is that when people are called and asked if they can give money to a cause, to the Democratic Party or to a candidate, they're typically saying yes, again, if they have the funds, because they also see and observe what's being done in this time with, you know, the leadership that's currently in place. from a state level and from, you know, various levels across our nation, and they really want change, and people are investing in that change by making contributions to candidates. So it would be awesome if some of the precinct chairs and precinct leaders can also engage in what we like to call good old political call time and start calling on some people who are supporters of Democrats right here in Cabarrus County to help raise those funds. So that's what I'll say, and I'll yield to all the other candidates. I've enjoyed my time with you all. I do have to run to another event, but thank you so much for this opportunity this evening.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, I would echo what Amy just shared in terms of people willing to support campaigns, and then also you have an advantage as well as a precinct or as the county party to show that you're supporting a plethora of candidates. So people are have been willing to support. In fact, on some of the people who have said or declined, they have said that they have given to different, other campaigns, like at the top of the ballot. So I think that with you being representing the county, that you would have an opportunity to gain support as well, or to get funding as well through that, through call time.
I'm glad to hear that we're not getting too much pushback because of that. That was one of the questions I had.
I'd like to add to that. I don't think everybody is totally aware of how expensive it is to run a campaign. And I'm getting requests for people who want me to mail them yard signs individually so that they can put them in their yards across the state. I cannot afford that. A yard sign can cost me as much as $5 or $6, and then to put it in the mail with the stakes and everything just cost prohibitive, which is why so many campaigns are selling or charging for their yard signs. I'm trying very hard, and many of us are trying very hard not to do that. So I'm trying to drop off yard signs at like the Democratic Party headquarters, so that if somebody wants one, they may be able to come there and pick it up, or with some of the palm cards. But I don't know how to tell you to make money on the local level. I wish that we could give you something, but it has gotten difficult for us as well because it's so very expensive now to have these campaigns in the year and the era of COVID, because everything has to be done digitally or on radio or on TV, which just have insurmountable costs. So we ask that you understand when we are not able to put a yard sign in every yard of someone who wants it, or to do some things, but we will do what we can to make sure that you will have enough to cover the polls or the precincts on election day, and enough to get the message out.
Well, thank you. I think I can speak for Bobby Hague. She's not on the call right now. I spoke with her yesterday, and she did say that there would be yard signs available at the county headquarters over at Lock Mill, so that anybody who wants to get a sign, I'm not sure how many candidate signs will be there, but she is buying them in bulk from party resources. And of course, she will turn around and have to charge some nominal fee to cover the cost of those signs, but they will be available. So if you're interested, reach out to Bobby. Go to the county website, and you'll be able to reach out and get those signs. I'm waiting to put some in my neighborhood. I see way too many Trump flags flying even higher than the American flag, which drives me crazy. We were talking about that before our meeting started with some of the people that were early arrivals on this call. Saying, I just don't understand it, but it is what it is. I just never thought that there would be a flag with a man's name or a person's name on it. I could see a flag for the state or for the county, but to have a persona flag, just don't understand that. In any event, that's my rant for today. I won't do any more on that, but yeah, there will be signs available for anyone who needs to get it.
And the second question I had was with respect to, and I've been living in several states throughout the United States over my many years, and I was kind of surprised to see that this state had a lieutenant governor and a governor that were not of the same party. I know when the United States first got started, whoever lost the general election became vice president. So I'm not sure if that's the history of North Carolina, but do you see the Republicans or the independents supporting that change, that the governor and lieutenant governor would be of one party? If yes, would they do it? If no, how could you convince them to do it?
It's a different structure of government. North Carolina has always voted as hope and as fear. We're the state that had Jesse Helms, and at the same time we had Senator Jesse Helms, we had Terry Sanford, in the Senate. And we also the state that has had a different governor and a different lieutenant governor, vice versa. And I think I agree with you. I think it's time that we run together as a team. But before we do that, we have to vote them together. And it's been a while since we voted them together. That's why this race is so important. We are fighting for the soul of North Carolina. Not a Trump flag that's flying, but the flag of the people of North Carolina. And it's just real important that we get out there like we've never gotten out there before and make it no question that North Carolina is turning blue, and that no question that the ballots will not be questioned by anyone because we win by such a landslide.
Thank you, Yvonne. Andrea, I see you have your hand up. You have a question to ask?
Well, actually, it's Bob. I'm on Andrea's computer.
Oh, okay, Bob.
With her. The yard signs that are available at the headquarters, in the county headquarters, are not Biden signs at yet.
No.
There's a holdup with the Biden signs.
Because you're in charge of it.
Right. Can you hear me? Am I muted or?
No, I can hear you.
I hear you.
I'm not aware of it.
Yes, they're still. They're going to be able for me to pick them up in Fayetteville, but there's some kind of holdup with them right now. So when you mention yard signs, I guess they're for the other candidates that are running. And
No, I was actually talking about specifically for like Biden, and I heard rumors floating around that they were looking for like $250 for a group of like 5 signs.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But they're supposed to be delivered to the state and in Fayetteville. And I will be, as soon as I get marching orders, I will be driving to Fayetteville, picking them up and bringing them back to the headquarters.
To the person to distribute them, to Ashley Reed.
To Ashley Reed.
Well, give me a buzz and I'll jump on the bandwagon and give you a hand.
Yeah, but right now, and I heard rumors that they were held up because supposedly the distribution center, somebody had COVID and they shut it all down for 2 weeks. So,
of course.
Yeah, there's a holdup in that. I just wanted to put that in there.
Well,
and they're very expensive if you get them through the Biden campaign. You have to buy them online, and they're like $25 or something, I hear, and you have to pay for shipping. But we're still waiting on them.
Yeah.
You have a direct line.
Well, we absolutely need to fight the signs war. If my neighborhood is any indication, there's a dearth of Democratic signs, and we need to remedy that.
Right.
But I think to Jay's earlier question is like, how can we help the candidates with their fundraising? We're recording this session, and we intend to segment it. You and I, Bob, talked earlier about taking different segments from the different candidates and making that available for their social media sites so that they can use that to promote themselves and to promote more donations for their individual causes. So we'll work with that. Again, the coalition, we're going to speak to that in just a little bit, but the coalition of the Young Democrats, the Democratic Women, the County Party, and the Senior Dems will do everything that we possibly can to get all of our membership, all of our members aware and educated and alert. And if they can donate, we'll have them donate. In the last newsletter, we published a way where they could donate to the party, and that gets distributed. If they don't have the financial resources, how can they phone bank? How can they be involved with texting on behalf of the party, on behalf of each of the individual candidates? So there's a fellow not on this call tonight because I know he's busy making phone calls, but John Jordan, who's been tagged with being the lead person for the coalition, is trying to spearhead all of those efforts. So we're working on it. And for all of the candidates, Catherine, I see, is still on the call. Niquela Dees Banton just joined the call. Who's running for school board as well. Hi, Niquela.
Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing?
We're moving along. Like, well, this is a new world of Zoom that we're all living in here. But I'm so pleased to see the candidates on this call, and we'll do everything we can to help get all of you elected.
Well, I thank you. And the efforts have been made today. I don't know if you heard, I got great news. I've been endorsed by the Cabarrus County Black Political Caucus as of today. So that's really exciting for me. And I just want to say thank you to everybody else here who made that happen.
Awesome. Congratulations, Niquela.
Thank you.
Wow. Congratulations.
Vincent, I just wanted to say, I know back in 2018, each candidate took about 40 signs down to the Democratic headquarters and we lined them up against the wall. I think that was at a breakfast. And then we had people just to walk down the road and pick up each sign. I mean, we're not able to give out handouts. We're not able to go out and meet people. We're not able to shake hands. Our only way is through social media and signs right now. So I wish there was some system that we could come up with, you know, to schedule or have times and let people who want to come in and get, you know, everybody's signs. Because I know I rode around last year and I saw my signs up in yards. I didn't know who they were, and I found out later on they were just good Democrats that went down to headquarters on their own and got signs. So, you know, that would help. I know that would help me a lot. I think it would help the other candidates if we could get people to get our signs.
Well, Kat, I will reach out to Bobby Hay and tomorrow and see if we can make that happen. I've just been notified that Yvonne Holley needs to leave us at 7:30. We thank you so much for being a part of this call, and we sure hope that you are our next Lieutenant Governor. I have a request into Governor Cooper to be our speaker next month or sometime during the month of October. So if you have an ear with the governor, you can ask him to be a part of this Zoom call. Hopefully he'll be able to join and share his vision.
Well, it's been my pleasure to be on, and I cannot speak for the governor because I do not schedule myself, you know, so I know that he doesn't schedule himself either. And so many of these calls are going on at the same time. You feel almost rude when you say, I got to get off because, you know, I want to give you the kind of time that you deserve. And, but I do have to go to another one. And I do want to say thank you so much for allowing me to at least stick my head in on the meeting for a little while. And bless you all. And if you have any questions, you can reach me at YvonneLewisHolley.com. That's my website. And I appreciate you looking me up, supporting me, and keep us all in prayer.
Hey, Yvonne, just before you go, just to let everybody know there, I guess it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Bobby informed me that, quote unquote, our office was, quote unquote, scrubbed. So if people want to make appointments, we can work that in.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Yvonne. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We have just a little bit more time for question and answer before we move into the next segment here. And this is coming from one of our board members. And the question is, when a donation is made through Act Blue to a particular candidate, does all the donation go to that candidate or does part of it go to the National Democratic Office? I don't know the answer to that. Is there anybody on this call that knows the answer to that? Any of the candidates perhaps?
I am not, this is Kevin, I'm not sure if where the additional amount goes, but I definitely do know that a certain percentage does go. So for instance, if you get $100, the account gets 97. So I'm not exactly sure where that extra, $3 and change goes, or, an extra $3 goes, but, you don't necessarily, to answer the direct question, you do not get the entire $100
Okay.
into your.
Carol, who asked the question, I'll dig into that and see if we can find an answer for you, Carol. I'm going to put this back on screen share, try to keep us back on track. Yvonne has graciously met with us. We went through the Q&A. I have a few dates I just want everyone to be aware of, and if you would mark your calendars to stay informed. On September 24th, the Cabarrus County Democratic Coalition will be hosting a meeting with the guest speaker being North Carolina Supreme Court Chief Justice Sherry Beasley. And the candidate, this is being hosted, by the way, by the women, the Democratic women. So Kevin, you're not allowed to be there, okay? This is going to be Sabrina's show. This is going to be Justice Sherry Beasley and Sabrina Berry, but you'll be there in spirit. I know you will.
Yeah, no problem. I'm sure Sabrina will do well.
Yeah, and the Democratic women are also, the statewide Democratic women are going to be holding their annual convention, their 60th annual convention online on September 25th and through 27th for people who want to be a part of that. The coalition, these are the folks, right? So Bobby Haig couldn't be with us tonight. All these guys are out doing important work for the party. Kathleen Hannon, who's the president of the Democratic Women, Taylor Beckett, who's the Young Democrats of North Carolina Piedmont Regional Director, and Catherine Jeans, who's the Young Democratic Cabarrus County Chair. All of these folks have made these sessions happen, and I just can't say thank you enough to Kathleen and Taylor and Catherine and of course Bobby Haig for making all of this possible. And I showed this, we shared this picture the last time at the last meeting we had when the Young Democrats ran their meeting. Just a reminder that we have so many absolutely incredible candidates running for state and local and county office. So, our hats are off to all of you for putting in the time and the effort to make this happen. At this juncture, I want to introduce Martin Erickson. Martin is on this call. He is the chair of the County Board of Elections. He has some update information for you and for all the viewers on this call and the people that will view this call asynchronously after we make the recording available. Martin, if you could unmute yourself and make your video available, I will turn the floor over to you and just give folks an update on the vote by mail and some of the issues that we're facing ahead of us.
Oh, thank you, Vincent. Can you hear me? Just a sound check.
Yes, I hear you loud and clear. Okay.
Voting by mail has turned out to be very popular here in Cabarrus County. We've received 14,000 requests for absentee mail ballots. That a similar point in 2016, we had only received 765. So that's 14,000 versus 765. Those ballots have been mailed out in the last few days. So if you've already got your request in, you should be seeing a ballot showing up in your mailbox shortly. As soon as you gather your witness, vote your ballot, both front and back. A lot of the people you heard talking today were on the back of the ballot. Put it in your envelope, seal it, sign it, get your witness to print their name, their address, and sign it. It's ready to go back in the mail. Only takes a 55-cent stamp to send it back, or you can hand carry it in to the Board of Elections 8 to 5 on weekdays, or take it to your one-stop site. Your one-stop sites have been set for 17 days of voting, starting October 15th straight through to October 31st. weekdays 8 to 7:30, Saturdays 8 to 3 p.m., Sundays 1 to 5 p.m. And the sites will be published as far as the locations, but tentatively, pending some lease negotiations, they will be at Northern Plaza. That's the old Northern Tool site across from, there's a tire place and Concord Diner near the intersection of Central and Concord Parkway North, Charlotte Motor Speedway, Kannapolis Train Depot, and one of the buildings at Cabarrus Arena that will have signage up as to which building is selected out there. So those are two of the major ways. Yvonne Holley really did a very good write-up, so I don't have anything more around that. We are doing pretty well on our workers, but if you feel like working for the polls, there is a sign up on the Cabarrus County Board of Elections website. I think we're doing well on judges and chief judges. Last time I heard, perhaps we still have some needs out in the Mount Pleasant area. Other than that, I'm just going to put myself open for questions.
Well, Martin, I have a question. I think I asked this a little earlier this afternoon. So if I have a mail-in vote, I receive one in the mail, I fill out my ballot, I'm able to, if I understood what you said to me earlier today, I'm able to fill that out, put it in an envelope, make sure that the envelope is signed, sealed, a signature with my signature and a witness signature, and that I can actually bring that to the Board of Elections. I don't have to wait until, primary, or I'm sorry, until one of the early voting locations is open. I can actually go to the.
You can do it as early as 8 o'clock tomorrow.
Really? Okay. So
yeah,
if I get this in the mail, I can go ahead and fill that out, bring it over to Church Street in Concord, and that has the same effect as if though I had put it in the U.S. mail. Is that correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah, and actually, they say take it to a one-stop site or to the Board of Elections. The merit of the one-stop site is it would be open on the weekends or extended hours in the evenings, but you would have to stand in line with everybody standing there to vote to turn it in. We don't have drop boxes in North Carolina. It has to be actually checked in. So if I were going to carry it in, I think my preference, if it was convenient to me, would be to go to the Cabarrus Board of Elections office, 369 Church Street, and just hand it in there, because then you wouldn't be competing with the people voting.
Perfect. Thank you.
And
I noticed
just as a note, in case anybody has any weird ideas, don't try to vote twice.
I thought
there will be.
I thought someone in the White
there
House
will be
gave us permission.
No, it is a Class I felony in the state of North Carolina to vote twice or to attempt to vote twice. So only vote once. There will be a system coming online shortly where you'll be able to track your ballot and see that it's been accepted. So you don't have to stand in line to figure that out.
Thank you, Martin. I noticed that John Jordan has joined this call. I think I saw him just a moment ago. John, if you're there and you could unmute yourself and just introduce yourself and share a little bit about what the coalition is doing.
One last thing, Vincent, if I can put it in here, I'm going to put in the chat for everybody. There is a way to request your ballot if you haven't already online, and you don't have to get the application form. So I'm putting that in the chat.
Awesome.
Okay, John, sorry to step on you. Handing over to you.
No, Martin, no problem. Thank you all for even pulling together this event. Just to kind of touch base really quickly. So my name is John Jordan, and I am the official Biden-Harris organizing and campaign, coordinated campaign. So it really includes a lot of the top of the ballot organizing efforts inside of Cabarrus County. We've built the Cabarrus County Democratic Volunteer Coalition, which is really consolidating a lot of the volunteer efforts for this upcoming election so that we can run a coordinated field strategy and really get the turnout that we need to make sure that we have the Democratic support inside of Cabarrus County for candidates. One of the things that we're doing, we run it day in and day out. We have volunteer teams that are working on phone banking, that are also doing text banking. And you do these safely from, through a Zoom room, from the kind of safety of your own home. But you're also working in conjunction with a lot of other volunteers who understand how important this election is and want to make sure that we get that turnout together. We really help people really explain voter registration. We help voters inside of Cabarrus County with voter registration, really explaining the expertise that Martin Erickson provides around vote by mail. And then lastly, sharing with voters about the candidate platform so that people know who and what they're actually voting for in this election. And so we do volunteer engagements from now through the rest of this election. It's only officially, 56 days left in this election. And from this point forward, now that ballots have been mailed out, we're seeing every day as kind of election day. And we're looking for volunteers that can help us out from whatever capacity you have. We make the most of your time. I will drop into the chat the volunteer sign-up sheet. So if you or anyone that you know is looking to get involved, please do complete that sign-up sheet. And within 24 to 48 hours, either you'll hear back from myself or a volunteer coordinator, Ruth Hilton. We'll get you scheduled for an onboarding training and take it from there. And make sure that we can get strong turnout for the candidates up and down the ballot. Thank you all, and thanks again, Vincent, for making this event happen.
Thank you. I mean, this has been awesome. I really appreciate all of the candidates who took the time to be with us today, and all of the participants and the people who are taking time to listen to the issues and listen to the candidates. And make informed decisions. And we know we'll make the right decisions. Ultimately, we're all in this together, and we're all trying to make a better Cabarrus County, a better state of North Carolina, and a better state of the Union. I'm going to end this recording in just a little second here, and I want to say thank you again to everyone for being a part of this. If there's any questions that come up after this recording, we will have it available on our website and in YouTube land. And again, I look forward to hearing from all of you and seeing all of you again. I can't wait till we can meet again in person over a good cup of coffee or a glass of iced tea at Trotman's Barbecue. Thanks everyone so much. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed week, and go vote.